Daniel and Nate.
Nathan and Daniel. Daniel Chou and Nathan Bokkers.
Nate and Daniel.
Nathan, Daniel, Chou.
Daniel and Nate.
This is what I was missing. I was missing the laser focus that they give you, the support they give you, and the push and the drive that makes you wake up every single day and get excited to actually work on your business.
It's a great environment. They give us weekly training. They're available on the Telegram app. They're available in the DMs. I always get great advice from them.
Everything about them really helps you gain the knowledge you need to make money with affiliate marketing. And not only that, help you mentally change your focus, change your mindset so that you can become the best affiliate marketer out there.
I've seen quite a bit in the marketplace, but I'll tell you right now, craziest thing that I've never seen before is the support that you get. These guys really over deliver. I mean, I finally feel that I have some strategies and tips, some concrete things that I can do that are going to move me forward in my affiliate marketing business.
I finally feel like I have some clarity and I have a plan in place for what I'm going to do in the next few months. I'm excited for it, and I just wanted to thank you for sharing all of your strategies.
It was jam-packed with nuggets for marketers of all levels, from Facebook profile training to social media marketing. No stone was left unturned.
I'm trying to get this video done without breaking down. It's one of the best things that I've ever done in my entire life, and I owe it to you guys. You guys are the best. I can't wait to see what else you guys come up with. I'll be the first customer online.
Bong, what's going on, everyone? Nate, your mic.
There we go. Good morning, everybody. Guys, we have a great interview today. I'm super pumped. But good morning. Welcome to Rise with Wealth Warriors. You got Dan Chou here, Nathan Bokkers. Welcome to our weekly podcast. And we got a special guest today and super excited to bring him on. We've had him on here in the past. A lot of you know who he is, right? So we're super excited. But first of all, if you guys are watching this live, hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. And let us know where you're all coming from. I'm up in northern Alberta, Canada. Daniel's back home in Tucson, Arizona.
Let's go. Let's go.
He's finally home. So,
what's up? Good morning, Brian.
We're about to crank out the content and stuff. But first of all, we got a huge interview, guys. So make sure you guys grab your books, grab your notepads, because it's always inspiring bringing on the legendary Papa Don. Let's bring him on. Good morning. Good morning. Your mic. There you go. Good morning, Papa Don. How's it going?
So just another beautiful day in paradise.
Amazing, amazing. Last time when you were here, after that interview, you gave so much value. The feedback from the audience was crazy, okay? And today, we're going to have another great session together. And because I know, me and Nathan know that you just recently, wrote a book. It's actually coming out August 22nd, right? So we're going to talk about it and try to provide massive value from the audience and whoever watching this live, okay? And tell us about this book that you have been publishing.
Well, it's really about you. It was like I'm a good member of the congregation. Well, I can just you want me to just run through a little overview of the book?
Just tell us the title first.
Oh, the title.
Yeah.
3 Steps to 10K. Let's see.
What made you want to pick that? I mean, what made you want to create this book?
Being old, having done a lot of things, I thought it was. I just had a lot of thoughts, Daniel. I wanted to. I didn't know if I could write a book or not. I worked quite a while on it. I finally got it to the point I thought it was reasonable. Had a couple people read the draft, and they said, "Hey, that's damn good." And so I went to Amazon, and they're publishing it for me, and I've had if this thing goes well, which I hope it does. Right. The real objective I have in this first one is to go through the process and see how it works and see what I did right and what I did wrong. But I also want to, if it does work, I've got some ideas of a second book and a third book that I would write now that I've written a book and I got that fear out of my system and I feel comfortable with it. And what I'm trying to accomplish on this and what I could really use help from you guys and your friends and anyone else that they can contact is that if I can get, you go in when you're at Amazon, you're put in a particular group based on what your book's about. Well, my book's about business. That's the broad category it goes under because it's just everything that you guys teach is what I'm talking about. That's a very competitive thing, okay? My objective personally is to get the best-selling author badge, okay? So every time a book comes up or this book comes up in the future, it'll say best-selling author Papa Don. And to do that, their algorithm goes like this. The book officially goes on sale the 20th of August. It's available right now, but it doesn't officially release until the 20th. They won't ship anything until it's the 20th. In the 48 hours of the morning of the 20th through the evening of the 21st, they'll count how many books are sold. And if I have sold more books than anyone else in that category for that 48-hour period, then I'll be titled a best-selling author. That's what I'm trying to do. We did a lot of research on how big those groups are and subgroups, and there's a whole litany of things you got to go through to figure it out. But effectively, I've got to get somewhere between 250 and 300 books sold in that 48-hour period. So that's what I'm trying to do. And if anyone can drop their 99 cents and get a recap, someone else's version of the Bob, you guys, I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. I mean, it's actually a big bold move. I mean, to seeing you actually writing that book. Okay, amazing achievement. I'm sure me and Nathan can learn from you that when we want to publish our book as well. Okay, so now, I mean, a couple questions. I mean, let's give massive value to the audience, right? And give them a reason why they need to pick up this book. Okay, and let's rewind the clock. Okay. Because I know you were very successful, right? Now, this year you are 81 years old, right? 81?
I turned 82 in September.
82, okay, 82, right? 82 years old, young. And in your early career, you did many business, quite successful. You sold a couple companies. You had your own software company as well in early days, right? Then after your retirement, in the last couple years, you decided to start your online business, okay, from scratch. It's totally different category versus comparing to what you did in your early career. Okay, so if we rewind the clock, what was your retirement life was like before you made your first $10,000 online? Okay, I'm sure you are just like me and Nathan and many people out there. You had to go through a lot of challenges when you learn something new, right? For online marketing, and what finally pushed you to take action, make that decision, say, hey, I want to do this. I want to do this.
Let me, because coming on 82, I got a lot of history behind me. So let me leave a lot of that early stuff out. But primarily, you hit it. The key things, key moments in my life that I would say that led to this are, I was with IBM at the time. I had been with them. I'd gone up the corporate ladder. I was offered a pretty significant job. I took the weekend to think about it because what was burning in me is something that both of you guys have faced as well with the family and so forth. I was making a tremendous amount of money at IBM. I was moving up the ladder. I was doing great. I was doing everything they told me to do. But my day was, I went to work between 5 and 6 in the morning, and I got home between 9 and 11 at night. And that was made a lot of money, but my boys were growing up and I wasn't part of the life. My wife was raising our family. And I knew if I took this next job, it was even bigger and I had to put more in. And so that weekend, I just made the decision. I can't do that. I don't have any more I'm going to give. I want to go see my kids grow up. And so Monday morning, that was Friday night. On Monday morning, I resigned from the IBM Corporation. And I had a lot of, because I was well known in the Seattle community, I was offered a lot of jobs and all that. But after a couple of months of going through a lot of interviews and so forth, my wife finally said to me, she said, why are you doing this? Whatever job you get, you're going to just do the same thing. You're going to work yourself to death and you're never going to be home then either. Why don't you start your own business? Buy a company. We can afford it. Just go buy whatever you want. And so I bought a small company and I took that to a significant number, 5 or 6 years. I sold it for a lot. I thought I had all the money in the world then because I had jumped quite a bit. And, I was still young and I got bored. And so I got involved with, I went back to the software business, which I came from with IBM. And I started a little company and it did very well. And so I just had more of that. I went through a whole litany through the 90s. And I retired 2 or 3 times through that because I'd sell a company, have a bunch of money. I'd feel, we'd take another few trips. I'd get bored. I'd go back to the company. We'd just start the whole thing all over again.
Yep.
And so after, there was a major software event that occurred in the late 90s. And I was very involved in that and was very fortuitous that I had picked the right pony to ride. And so in early 2000, I sold that and I said, I'm officially retired now. That's it. Stop. And so for the next, until 2018, through that period, I didn't do anything other than I did do a lot of consulting. I'd made a lot of contacts. I was asked to do a lot of things, served on some boards and so forth. But I started getting interested in online marketing. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about this business. The history of it, I didn't know. So I went through, bought a lot of courses, found a lot of, gurus and rip-off artists and so forth that didn't really know anything and except how to cash checks. And I finally found Legendary. I met, got started with that, went through that, did very well with the Legendary, sold a lot of their product, became later Dave Sharpe asked me to be a BPA for them, and I was for about 1.5 years, which was a tremendous experience. And I'll come back to that in a moment because a lot of what I talk about started with that experience of being a BPA. And someone in one of your little sequences that came up before the show started of testimonials, someone was talking about the level of support and so forth that you guys give. Well, I can tell you from Legendary, and I eventually they went through a little blip a couple of years ago, and there's a lot of us left and so forth. That's when I got involved with Jonathan. Mm-hmm. And that's from Jonathan how I got involved with you. And, and the lineage of that, my lineage goes just like you guys' lineage. David taught Jonathan, Jonathan taught you, and here we are all, and here you're teaching me again. So here we go. But that's my background in it. So my involvement it took me till 21 to find Legendary. In 2021, I was about 1.5 years behind Jonathan. Jonathan was, at that point in time, Jonathan was a leading affiliate for Legendary. Mm-hmm. And I was a rookie just coming in and starting the process. But I that's where I met Jonathan, and I followed him a lot through that. So anyway, I go on and I get here, and what brings me to writing this book is the experience I had as a BPA. Because I look at it as a situation where there's a lot of good products out there. There's a lot of good ideas, we get hit with them every day. You know, every time you open your email, you got a new one to look at. But there's very few people that really know how to run it. And what I experienced as a BPA was trying to get people to understand that this is work. This isn't just because you're going to spend a couple $1,000 doesn't mean you're going to be successful.
All right, let's pause right there. For people who don't know what BPA is, right? What does that stand for?
What does it stand for?
Like business
planning advisor. And what it was, other people would call it the sales job, because what it was in Legendary, you paid $7 to get in, and that got you started and you go through a 15-day issue, and then at day 5, Dave Sharpe comes in, he drops the bomb. Okay, well, now if you want the real training, it's $2,500. And so at that point in time, as a BPA, you pick people up maybe day 2, day 3, make sure they got the right information. On day 5, you've got to deal with their shock of being all of a sudden they're supposed to spend $2,500. So you're either going to sell there, which a lot of guys tried to do, and they were not as successful as they could have been. Some of us worked very hard to listen to where everyone has a problem. Everyone has something they're trying to resolve. I just, from my marketing background, what I learned through my years, what I've always known that it's not my product that I've got to talk about. I need to talk about your need. I have to understand where you are. I got to understand what you're trying to accomplish. And I did that, and in doing that, to me, was natural. It's just how we communicate. But so many people didn't do that, and they were trying to sell the $2,500 package as opposed to listening to their audience. And so that was something that got me, and I picked up on it being a difference between me and some of the other guys. And as I've gone through these ensuing years, I have continued to be amazed at how many people will pop for some money, and you guys see this all the time, and then they get into the work and start doing the work, and then they drop off, or the priorities change, and their motives change. Well, those people are exactly now where they were before they ever met you. Okay. Yep. And they're not going anywhere. I mean, they'll go spend some more money, but they're not going to move their life at all. The needle isn't going to move. So I'm very motivated. To say to people, new people or people that have already bought something that aren't doing as well as they think they should. And I apologize for looking off the side, but that's where my big screen is. That's where I can see, and I can't see on my smaller screen so well. But I believe there's a message there, and it's about, and so I said there's 3 things you got to do, and I've said it several different ways, but you pick a high ticket product. You plug in the tools that are available to us, and you just do one thing at a time, and you stay right in your lane, and you don't worry about shiny objects. People say, well, I don't pay attention to shiny objects, which is pure bullshit. We all pay attention to shiny objects, and we get distracted. Mm-hmm. I just took on a consulting client the other day. And I talk to a lot of people. I don't take that many people on because I put them through a little bit of a thing. I try to get to what their motives are and so forth. And I try for them to understand what they're getting into and what they can expect and what they've got to be willing to commit to. And in this case, this young man and I were talking, and I told him there are several. I said, I'm an affiliate for a lot of different products, but in this place, I'm an affiliate for Legendary, I'm an affiliate for Jonathan Montoya, and I'm an affiliate for Pop. And I said, every one of those programs have something special. They all create very excellent training. They all offer customer support at various levels. And there are some distinctions. There's some price distinctions that aren't really significant in the overall blend of things. There's some pricing discrepancies, but the thing that I'm always looking for as a client, as a user, I'm looking for support and training. That's all I want. I want ongoing training and I want a ton of support. And so I say, depending on where a person is, you can take any of these things. And this guy, he said, well, which one do you propose? I said, I'm not going to say that to you. I said, the advantage of Legendary is this, the advantage of Jonathan is this, the advantage of Pop is this, the disadvantage of David is this, the disadvantage of Jonathan is that, and the disadvantage of, well, and there aren't too many disadvantages when you get to Pop. And I'm not saying that because I'm on your screen. I say that in my book. In fact, the end of my book, if a person wants to go on and learn more about this, is my affiliate link to Pop. It takes them right into you. And that's about as strong of a support.
I appreciate you that, okay? There is no rehearsal, everybody, but me and Nathan, as a program owner, we appreciate you as the user, right, of our program. So we appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you.
So what in this young man's case, to continue my story, in our talking, I said, well, what do you like to do? And he said fishing and hiking. And so I said, well, I don't fish that much, but I'm around the water, but I just don't like to fish. I said, what is your hiking? I said, tell me about it. Oh yeah, I do this. I said, yeah, I like to hike too. And and as we got to talking, I said, I want you to understand, getting into this, it's very much like going on a hike. And so we've got a trail we're going to go up, and we've got a destination we can see in the background. What do we do when we're on a hike? And he says, well, we enjoy the view. I said, no, that's not what we do on a hike. We do enjoy the journey, but we're also being very careful of the next step because we're on a trail that we don't know. We got to pay attention to it. We step off that trail, we can fall off, we can hurt ourselves. It can be, and we're up here by ourselves. I said, so what we do is we're usually looking 100, 200 feet ahead of ourselves on a trail and paying attention to the terrain and so forth. And we come up a little rise and there's a beautiful peak and we look at it, but we stop, we look at it, and then we go back to watching the trail. I said, this journey, this training that you want to take is very much like that hiking. There's going to be a lot of beautiful mountains to see. There's going to be a lot of scenery you're going to enjoy. There's also the objective of getting there, and to get there, we got to take a step at a time, and we've got to watch the trail right in front of us. We've got to not look at shiny objects, and a shiny object is looking at the peak. A shiny object is taking your eyes off the trail. Anything that does that, you're defeating your purpose. So I told him, I said, look, I want you to review these things, you come up with your own conclusions. But if you want me to help you, I'm going to need a commitment for you that you are capable of keeping your eyes on the trail. Because if you think you've seen stuff now, wait till you really get into this, and you're going to get bombarded with shiny objects. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to take you off track daily. And if you don't have the discipline to deal with it, then you're wasting you're just dreaming. You're not going to move your needle at all. You're just going to spend money, and you're going to say, it's my fault, or it's Daniel's fault, or it's Dave Sharpe's fault, or whoever's fault. No, it's your fault. Keep your eye on the trail. And anyway, I won't start selling my crap, but that's a lot of that motivation of dealing with those people and helping them get through that trip is what at my age, I'd also like to create a little bit of a legacy as to a contribution that I made. I mean, you guys have all made contributions to me, and I'd like to make a contribution to the community. I truly would. And I think there's a lot of people, if they pay attention to what I said, I think they could benefit from it.
Oh, I mean, you are a big inspiration to me and Nate, to our community, and to so many people out there. Especially you, right? At your age, 82 years old, which I still consider young, but there are a lot of people, maybe half of your age, or maybe not near to your age, they lose that passion to life already. They think they have been through a lot. There's no any motivation left, right? And they stop going to that next level. So you are a perfect example. Okay, so I'm so happy that you can get your story out there and get your knowledge, put in a book and share it with the world. Okay, Nate, do you have any question that you want to ask?
Yeah, just give me 1 sec. I had them pulled up here.
So thank you for everyone for tuning to this show. Okay, thank you.
Did you do number 2 question, or was it no?
I don't have any questions, so I didn't get anything.
So what did the 10K represent to you back then? And hold on, where did I have that? Sorry. Oh, okay. What belief did you have to let go before you could make your first 10K online?
Well, at that point in my life, the money thing was, it was interesting for me to get back into making money again, but it wasn't a major issue. It was achieving it was important to me. I wanted to learn how to do it, and I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. I didn't know where I was going to go with it, but that was my motive. Very, very simple. And I did the same thing. I did the same thing since I got started in all this, as I've always done. I immediately, I will commit myself to do stuff more than I'm capable of doing. I think I'm smarter than I am, and then I get into it. I say, well, wait a minute, I don't understand this. And so what I've always had to do is I've had to go back, look at, evaluate where I am. I have to evaluate what needs to be done, what are the options, and work it out. And there's a lot of training. It's about, don't make it perfect. Get it out, push it out. Put yourself out in the market. And I believe that it's always worked for me. And a lot of my learning through my whole career has been because I bit off something bigger than I was, and then I had to try to survive it. And I didn't survive all those battles, by the way. I had a couple that took me took me to the yard almost. But anyway, that's my motive. My motive is I truly know. Well, I believe that very few people in the world truly believe they're capable of being who they want to be. They want to be someone, but they don't believe they're capable of doing it, and they don't put the energy into actually making that happen. And I think that's a mindset issue. And if I can help someone with mindset, I'd be happy to. But so there's that, and there's just trying to share the path to me is so straightforward, and the tasks are so defined. If we can get people to do that and we can help them, then that's something that motivates me tremendously.
That's good. I mean, I want to ask this question, okay, from, I see Matt is asking, right? And he is, okay, so he's thinking about how to start, okay? So let's talk about, you talk about 3 steps in your book, okay? Give us a quick rundown for, let's say, for me, if I start from scratch, right? What are those 3 steps that you suggest me to follow in order to make my first 10K online?
In the first part in the book, the level of detail you get in your training and the level of detail I talk about in the book are two totally different things. I'm staying
from your perspective, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So 3 things are that one thing I want people to do is to forget about having. And I prepared a little talk that I was going to give, but I don't need to give it. But the one thing I say to do is, first of all, just pick one high ticket product that is that you're comfortable with, that you think you'd like to be involved with. and I define a high ticket product of anything over $1,000. Okay, anything less than that is not. So I say, well, first of all, pick that, and relative to niche, don't think of niche as something that sounds good because of what you heard on the internet. Think of niche as to what are you interested in, what are your passions, what are those things you really care about, and make it something that's real to you, that it's not like learning, it's like you just expanding yourself and having fun. So one is pick a high ticket product. Two is pick your partner, whichever product you're going to use, based on the training, on the support, on those things, and they will have a starter package for you. They'll have training for you. They'll have everything you need, but you've got to take it in sequence, one step at a time. But just pick that party and commit to it. And now I introduce the shiny object thing again and talk about, and just turn everything else off. Just focus on that. That's number two. And number three is just put the tools in place that'll be available to you through that training, and just focus on implementing that successfully. And once you've got that first product you're selling, and you're selling it, and you've not only learned how to bring people in the door, you've learned how to communicate with them, you've learned how to close them, you've learned how to move through the whole process. When you hit that point in time and you get some level of revenue, okay, now you can think about adding another product or adding another something or expanding your business. But at first, just stay focused on getting there. And I just keep it real, coming back to that over and over and over again. And it's really the people that I think some of the people in your group would, I appreciate their support, helping me try to reach my objective of best-selling author. But I think some of your professional people would, your people that have more success than others would enjoy it, just from the point of view of kind of a mental check on ourselves as to some of the boundaries we have on ourselves, some of the things that we don't do, and just a checkpoint. It's and there's no criticism in it. It's just saying it doesn't hurt us to look at ourselves every now and then. And I kind of put a standard there they can compare against. So that's about it.
That's actually great tip. Thank you for that. Okay, so let me ask you this. When you start building something new, you're gonna encounter resistance. Okay, regardless of your background, as long as you are learning something new, building something new, right? Or every millionaire you see out there, they went through this period. Okay, so there are a lot of people who are watching this right now. Maybe they are at the beginning point of their journey, and they are dealing with that challenges, with that resistance. Okay, so looking back from your own journey, what was the quiet habit or decision you made constantly? Okay, and that's the one most people overlook, and that actually make a difference, big difference.
The main quality for me, because I'm a sucker for shiny objects. I'm a sucker for something new. Mm-hmm. I read a headline, I got to understand what in the hell they're talking about. And if they give me an opinion, I'm going to go read about it till I can form my own opinion. So I have to guard against that all the time. The internet is cruel for me. I'm addicted to it, but it's still cruel to me the way my mind works. So it's just that focus thing. And for me, what allows me to do it, or allowed me to do it, I think of it back when I'm running businesses, and I've got people all over that I'm responsible for in terms of paying their salaries and making sure they're doing their job. That's how I get paid. Now, my interest, whether I want to go fishing or go play golf or go do whatever I want to do, or just look at another business opportunity, yeah, I'm interested in those things and I'm going to spend time on them, but I'm not going to do anything until I got my work done. And so when my day starts off, that's the first thing I do is I make sure I'm doing the things that make money for me. And then when I get through with all that, if I have some time left in the day, I'll go do what I want to do. But for me, the one thing that I picked up that was important for me with my mental state, I have to force myself to discipline. For instance, yesterday I worked very hard. I usually walk in the morning or very early morning, like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, or I'll walk after I try to shut down by 5 or 4:30 or 5 and spend some time with my wife in the evening, have dinner and spend time with my wife. The day before was the first day I've missed walking because I literally had started like at 4 o'clock in the morning and I had worked all day. And when it was dinner time, I was exhausted and I didn't want to go walk. And I didn't. And it pissed me off. But at the time, that's what I did. I can't do that. And many people can't do that. You've got to have a rhythm in your life. You've got to do things for your family. You've got to do things for your health. You've got to do things for your business. And there's a certain number of steps you've got to do every day, things that you've got to take care of. And they have to have a priority and they have to be done on a daily basis. That self-discipline is one of the biggest things. Well, Nathan had the opportunity to get off into the drug thing a little bit. Okay. You think I had to go through something? I haven't been through crap compared to what he had to go through. But the reason he succeeded is because he got in a program and he stuck with it. And as much as it hurt, as much as he wanted to go back, and as much as he was drawn to go back, his old buddies that's where they were. The discipline he demonstrated to make that his journey and to get through it is, well, it's very admirable. David Sharpe had the same thing. And I've had the opportunity to sit with David and he told old stories. But I've had my own, but discipline, that discipline is the characteristic. That's the difference between an entrepreneur and an employee. An employee gets up, they have to be at work at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock or whatever time it is. They do their job, however they do it to get through the day, and then they get to go home and be free. And so now it's party time. An entrepreneur never gets to do that. An entrepreneur has to understand what has to happen every day, and he has to be responsible to himself. And in my case, well, I've always worked out some, but in my case, as an older person, the reason I'm still here, the reason I'm still not in that bad of physical shape, in fact, I'm in good physical shape, is because I do. And I don't want to walk at 5 miles. I don't want to do that. It takes me 2 hours to do that. But my body loves it. My body stays strong because of it. I love to drink. I have put I don't drink much anymore. I used to be a fish. I could have easily joined Nathan in rehab, but my drinking of the last several years is I'll have 1 drink, maybe 2 drinks in the evening, and that's it. I mean, that's all I allow myself. Now, from a want point of view, I could sit there and drink with the boys all night if I just wanted to, but my discipline is that's it. So I put my wife and I went on a program, started for July 1st. We're going to go for 3 months. We made some things were changing. One, she started walking with me. 2, a bunch of other stuff, a bunch of discipline things. One of mine was to quit drinking for 3 months. And I also said, I'm also going to quit smoking. Well, I've quit smoking as many times as I've retired, and so after day 1 of that, I said, bullshit. I'm not, cigarettes that ain't going to be in this deal. I won't drink, but I'm not going to give up smoking right now. But those things. That's the difference, and that's what people have to deal with. And I think that's critical to all of us, not just in terms of success in affiliate marketing or these business things, but success in life. And people need more.
Yeah, I think that's actually very profound insight from you, okay? Because I see the quality, I see a lot of successful people, whether it's from you, from Nate, right? Like if we talk about Nate, I can tell you, right? Because he deal with a lot of challenges, okay? But a good quality from him, different from other people, is that when he lock in a goal, he will make sure he get it. Okay, the people can reject him, the people can turn him down, right? He probably deal with his own emotions as well, but at the end of the day, he will make sure he get it. Okay, and I consider myself that type of person as well. I think Papa Dang you as well, but I see so many people, they want the success, but they always talk themselves out of it. Okay, they got sucked into their own emotions, fear, self-doubt, right? And sometimes rejection from external circumstances. And as soon as they hit a challenge, they stop pursuing their goal. Okay, I think that's the main difference from people who so-called made it, and people who are struggling. Okay, because the people who made it, I can tell you, they are not smarter than anybody else. Okay, but their mentality is different.
That's correct. The conversation and one of the things, and we don't need to get off into it, but one of the things that you're saying is that you surround yourself with the people that bring value to your life. And there's a lot of our friends that we've grown up with, that we've come to love through the years, that are not bringing value to our lives. They're dragging us down. Their objective is a lot less than your objective. And if you start associating that with that person, you may like them, but they're not helping you. And you've got to, every now and then, and as you get older, it gets to be easier to do. You have to disassociate with some of those people. You have to, you got to do what you got to do. But I think that ability to be very focused on the things that you need to do to be the person you want to be. Because I do know, and I know this now, I used to think it, I know it now. Everyone that doesn't have a medical disability, whether it be mental or physical, has the ability to become exactly who they want to be.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Nate, do you have any question that you want to ask Papa Dang? In the meantime, I'm going to drop that Papa Dang's book link. Okay. Right now, he is doing a special, so you guys can check it out and pick it up. Okay. To give him some support so we can win this together. Okay. Nate, I'll let you ask the next question while I do that. Yeah.
Papa Dang, during the low points when results weren't showing yet, what was the story you kept telling yourself to keep you going? What was your real why? What was your motivator?
Well, the first thing, the motivation is because I have an objective and I want to accomplish that objective. The detractors are, and you guys know this because you're very involved in a lot of phases of your business, and there's a lot of things pulling on your personal resources to achieve that. So one of the things that my problem is that I've got a lot of things I'm responsible for, and a lot of things I'm involved in. And it's just prioritizing time. And as much as I want to be on your leaderboard, and as much as I want to be making a bunch of money, absolutely. And I don't mean this the wrong way, but at this point, money isn't a motivator to me so much as it is achievement. And the achievement is very important. I have to do that. That's something, because it's a failed mission if I don't come through. And how other people deal with it, they have to deal with it however they do. But that's my motivator. That's what drives me. I think that was your question, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes. So now that you've written a So now that you've written a book about it, what's the one truth? What's the one truth in those pages that you hope someone reads at just the right time and it changes everything for them?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a hell of a good question.
Good question.
Let me, I had prepared a little bit of a talk, and what's the one thing? To me, and I don't mean to sound like a broken record, and I'm sure I am, but the one thing that keeps coming back to me is if you set an objective, you say, I want to be a successful affiliate marketer. Okay. That's a great start. That's a great step. And the next thing is you look at what your options are for getting some training. And so you pick out who you're going to work with for whatever reasons you pick those people out. And even if you pick the wrong one, at least even in the, I can't say this because I've been in some really bad training, but for the most, there's a lot of, well, I think I've named 3 of them that I consider, and that's out of about 12 that I've been through. So I believe I'm in the right lane on this deal in terms of who we're talking about. The training is going to be there, but you've got to want it, and you've got to commit yourself to doing it, and it's going to be new, it's going to be scary, but if you've got support. And this young man the other day, I sent him back he asked me a question, and I knew the answer to the question. I said, no, wait, you're free to call me anytime you want. That's not what you're paying me for. You're paying me to get you to the finish line. I'm not going to walk you up to the finish line on my back so you get the trophy. I'm going to tell you how you got to train, what you got to do, and how you got to get yourself there, and you got to go get your own goddamn trophy. And and that's the way life is. And I said, don't call me, call customer service. You can call me, and I'll listen to you, and then I'll tell you to call customer service again, because that's what you've got to learn how to do. You've got to learn how to communicate with those people, how to utilize those resources. Now, that's, I don't know, I'm not trying to oversimplify it, but let me just see if I can, I'm just going through my notes here. I'm just seeing if I can come up with a snappy, quick answer to your question. Because for me to say what one thing, I don't know which one I want to pick. Let me go back. Let me just go back here to my closing and see if I. Relative to training, I said the system is leverage what already works, plug it into a proven engine, and automate the output. And that leads into your, trainings on AI. It leads into a lot of things. But the point is, you just got to go through the process in sequence. And I'm just reading what I had prepared to say in a talk was, if you've been grinding, starting and stopping and hitting walls, this book may be helpful to you. Here's the promise. If you follow what's in this book, you can build an online income that brings in $10K a month or more without rebuilding the wheel, without selling your soul, without needing a whiteboard in every video. The system is very basic. Leverage what already works, plug into a proven engine, and automate the output. That's it. 3 steps. No hype, no woo-woo. Just actually works. What actually works. Now, if you're here, I'm not going to read the book to you, but I will tell you the truth behind it. You've probably been told, pick a niche, post every day until you burn out, build your giant audience. Yep, that's advice. It's either outdated, overcomplicated, or just designed to keep you stuck. I'll show you a shortcut. You don't need to build the whole car. You just need the key. That's where POP comes in. This is out of my speech. Sure, it stands for passion over profits. It also means plug in, optimize, and profit. That's also a definition of POP. Inside the book, I'll show you how to launch a digital income stream in 30 to 90 days without fancy funnels, ad spend, or starting from scratch. They've already built the machine. All you need to do is turn the key. Because, yeah, making a little money online is fun, but making it predictable, that's freedom. I'll walk you through how to stabilize your income, automate your busy work, and grow without burnout. There's mindset work there in there too. I'm talking hard truths, simple wins, and stories from people who made it through the messy middle, just like you're going through now. The book isn't just strategy, it's a wake-up call. You're not too late, you're not too old, you're definitely not done. So if anything I say today sparked something in you, follow the spark. Anyway, and there was 10 minutes of talk before that. But,
awesome, great. And also we got feedback from Graham. Graham is in UK, okay? So he just say he got a message from Amazon saying that he cannot buy your book in UK. So Papa Dang, you might want to talk to your team to see how to make it available in UK. All right. And I want to, there is one question.
Could someone give him some contact information for me, have him contact me, and I'll take care of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I send it over. Yeah, I send it over. So let's help Julio out here. Okay, Julio say, did you confront negative trolls on social media making negative comments about your business model? For example, is the pyramid scheme or you just block them to keep growing your business? How do you deal with troll personally?
Well, first of all, it's that kind of input doesn't bother me in the slightest. People have a right to their opinion. I'd have a brief conversation, and if I can easily move him off that point, I'll try. And if it turns into a discussion, I'll hang up the phone and say, well, I'll say goodbye first, but then I'll hang up the phone. And because I'm not going to spend my life chasing those type of things. They're you think about the mindset of a person who would ask that kind of a question. Of course, in this business, if you're on social media, you're going to have negative things come up. There's all kinds of things that happen. People do weird stuff when they can't see you. They don't have to face you. I don't know. Maybe that's not the best answer, but that was a truthful answer. I'll give it a try, and if I can help him, I will, or say something that resonates with him, that can help him, I'll try. But my mind would definitely go, well, if you're so weak that's going to influence you, you got bigger battles to fight, man. You've got many bigger battles to fight. But I wouldn't say that, but that would be what I'm thinking. And anyway.
Yeah. That's actually a very good strategy there, okay? Because me and Nate, when we were rookies, we pretty much jump in every unnecessary battle. But now I realize, you cannot save everybody, okay? If they don't see what you see, you just move on, right? You don't even need to waste your time try to change people's perspective, okay? Just lock into your own vision, because there are so many people out there who align with what you want to do, okay? So just keep pursuing. Don't let that bother you, okay? Don't let that bother you. All right, thank you guys for joining this interview, okay? Nate, do you have anything you want to ask Papa Tang? Maybe like a last tip, like for people who really want to be successful out there, but still looking for ways?
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nathan.
No, go ahead. What's one tip you give to those people who've been sitting on the fence for a while, deciding whether they should jump in the online space or not?
Well, what I can do is anyone that wants to get a hold of me through you guys or however they can email me. I don't care. They can send me something on one of the platforms. I'll be happy to talk with them, and I will try. I mean, I will start that conversation with the objective of hearing what this person has to say, what their objectives are, how they perceive themselves, and so forth, and ask them some basic questions. Some of the things that I'm interested in, I covered earlier in our discussion, and I'm going to spend my energy trying to understand this person. And if I understand it that there is someone here who's legitimately confused and needs some help, I'll spend the time. I'm not going to charge them for that. I'll spend my time to do that. I mean, that's just a human thing to do. And I will try to help that person. I will listen to that person. I will try to understand the truth that they're not saying, because they're lying to themselves in a lot of their excuses, a lot of their reasoning. I mean, one thing that I learned through this whole thing, it's very rarely about, I can't come up with the money. You know, I don't have the money. That's the biggest, and I'm not casting stones at people that really have hard financial problems, but for the most part, if your wife or your mother or your son or your daughter needed surgery and they wouldn't do it until you paid them at least a couple $1,000s because you don't have the right insurance, I promise you, you're going to figure out how to get that money to get your kid taken care of.
Absolutely.
Because you just had an objective in your life that's important enough in your brain that you're going to do everything you can, and maybe things you never thought of doing, to get the money to do that. That's simply the mindset that you have to. I'll tell you a story of that. I remember a company I had at one point, I had about, I don't know, 80, 100 employees. I don't remember what it was, but the payroll was a significant payroll. And in those days, we paid it once a month. We didn't pay every 2 weeks. We paid, this is back in the 70s. Payroll was, I don't remember. It was a big number, a very big number. And my financial person came into my office that morning that the checks were to go out that afternoon, and said, we don't have enough money in the bank. And I said, well, okay, that didn't bother me, because I could just call the bank and say, put a few $1,000s in. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, that wasn't the problem. We didn't have enough to cover 90% of the frickin' payroll. And I thought, holy shit, because I was right in the middle of negotiating some money for another deal with my bank, and I didn't want to have a problem with the bank. And I had to come up with a whole ton of money outside of my banking. And I had to get real creative, figure out who I could talk to, and just go on a personal basis. Because I know guys with money, kind of you don't go around talking to your buddies about, loan me $5 or loan me 5,000, or that's just a conversation that's off the table. And anyway, that was a challenge that I'll never forget, because it took me till 3 o'clock in the afternoon to have a check I could deposit in my bank. And that was by the skin of my teeth that I was even able to get the deal put together, and some ridiculous collateral I put up for to do it. I mean, my wife would have shot me in the head if she'd known what I did. But anyway, things like that. But when things are important to you, you figure them out, and that's just the truth. If people want to learn this business, it's got to be important to them. It's got to be important to them for them to do the work. Well, we all know that, because we see the fall off as the training goes on. We see the fall off and so forth. And anyway, I'm just going around the barn again, but it's all about, and that's really one of the things I'm trying to address in the book. I'm trying to simplify the business. I'm trying to get the person to focus on, there are a few things that you do have to do, and you need to not worry about all the things you have to do. Focus on the things that you need to do, stay on track, don't get distracted, have the discipline to make sure you've done everything today that you have needed to do today to get that, to meet that objective, and don't do anything else until that gets done. And that's not hard. I mean, it's hard to do if you don't have the personal discipline to do it, but it's not hard to, you can break your whole training down. And if someone spent a couple of hours a day, 4 or 5 days a week, in 30 days, they're going to be through that training. They're going to, and they should be in 60 days, they should be, I'll make it easy, 90 days, they should be able to be starting to see some revenue. And I know that once a person does, in fact, start getting revenue, it changes the game a little bit. It makes it a little more fun. Except the next week comes and you got to do it again, and that's not as much fun because that check didn't come in that day. I mean, that next week. So you got to go back and be strong again and just keep going. Anyway, I feel like I am walking around the barn, but
thank you for the value that you bring to this interview. Okay, and once again, I want to encourage everybody. Okay, pick up Papa Don's book when he doing the pre-launch right now. Okay, and you can see basically borrow his life wisdom. 82 years old this year in September, right? Multi-millionaire from couple companies that he sold before, and jumping online after his retirement, work as the business advisor for legendary marketer, interview thousands of people. So he pretty much see what success takes. Okay, and your success all comes down to a couple things. You're doing boring stuff again. You focus on simple stuff. Okay, so this book will simplify the key ingredients that you need to focus on. Okay, 99 cents right now during pre-launch. Nate already dropped a link, and we appreciate your support. And Papa Don, we appreciate you jump on this interview and share this amazing value with our audience. Okay,
thank you very much.
Thank you, Nate. Nate, you there?
Yeah, sorry, I was just reading stuff. Yeah, so I just want to say thank you to everybody who's tuned in today, and I want to say thank you to Papa Don for coming on again. Always love having you on. It's always wisdom brought in. It's always value, so I appreciate your time once again, right? Edward, like to see you back again, buddy. So yeah, I just want to say appreciate it. I hope everybody got some value in this training, in this thing, and if you guys haven't, go grab that link that's posted down below and buy that book on the 20th, right, Papa Don?
They can put their order in right now. It opened yesterday.
So if they pay for it now, they'll take that order will process on the 20th, showing that you made
it'll get shipped to them on the 20th. Correct.
Perfect.
And the critical, just for those that care about me becoming a best-selling author, the critical dates for me are as many orders as I can possibly have in, or how many sales I can have by the end of the day of the 21st. So the algorithm is the morning of the 20th through the evening of the 21st. So if you're going to do it early. It's 99 cents now. A month or 6 weeks, whenever later, we'll be raising the price to $19.95. And I think it's worth $19.95 at least, but I'm biased.
Awesome. I mean, Papa Don, just make sure you reach out to me and Nate, okay, before that official launch day, and we're gonna help you do another push. Let's get that best author. Let's get that best. Oh, yeah.
Well, I wish I could figure out some bonus I could give people for buying the book, but everyone, for the most part in this group, you've got all the things that I'm dealing with, and you need me like another hole in the head. But regardless, I can send.
People receive value just talking to you, okay, from your life experience. I feel I pull out value from you every time I speak to you, interview you, right? You give people that calming energy. Yeah, you help people refocus what the priority should be, right? So that's a great value you are providing. Okay, and that's it. Thank you guys for joining us on this interview. And Papa Tang, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you again on our next interview. All right, everybody, have a good day. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.